Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 139 of the Audible Farm Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. I'm drinking some Couchtown Coffee during the interview of this episode. Watch the video versions if you want to watch me drink some coffee while I talk to the guest. Couchtown Coffee is my favorite coffee. I just ordered some more, and I usually wait too long to order some more, but I ordered some more ahead of time this time, so I won't run out, hopefully. And if you guys want to order some Couchtown coffee, check it out. They'll roast coffee beans specifically for you, exactly to your specifications, and then ship them to your house. They're roasted right here in Iowa by a person who is a local musician as well. Go to couchtowncoffee.com, find a coffee you like, make an order, and when you do, let them know Audible Farm sent you, and you will get 20% off your order. Thanks, Couchtown. This episode is also brought to you by the Broken Strings Foundation. Broken Strings was started by an Iowa musician with a goal to give a guitar to one student in every school district in Iowa. They call that the 367 Initiative, and it's one of my favorite things that's been started by a local musician around the area. And it's such a good cause. I believe in it. I've donated a lot of my own time to it, and I'm very loosely organized around it. I'm not involved in it in any fashion, but I have done some stuff to help out the organization in ways that I can. So I've donated some of my own time, free of charge, of course, to the non-for-profit to help them do some of the things they need to do. Check it out. It's I got links down below for it if you guys want to make a donation. There's the availability to make donations down there. I know they're going to be setting up an online shop here before too long, so you can purchase shirts and more things. And thank you very much to the Broken Strings Foundation for helping us out on the podcast here. This week I'm sitting down with John Waugh. John Waugh is the guitarist in Three Finger Betty, as well as the guitarist in the Shitkickers and the Sleepover. I play guitar with him in Three Finger Betty. We've got some cool stuff coming up, as well as the Shitkickers do too. The Shitkickers have a show coming up here later in the month, and Three Finger Betty does as well. And Three Finger Betty is also going to be doing some recording later this month. So we talk about those things and a whole bunch of other stuff in this upcoming episode. Me and John sit down over Skype to talk, which is kind of weird because we see each other just about every week anyways, but this was the only time we could get it done to get an interview done because we're both busy people, so we decided to go this route to get the interview done, and we'd save our face-to-face time for practicing up for the recording and the upcoming show that we have going on. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. We sit down and talk about a lot of different stuff. It's episode 139 with John Waugh.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
All right, today I'm sitting down with the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. It's John Waugh. John's the head man. There it is, the Three Finger Betty album for everybody watching on video. Oh, love it. That's the new vinyl we got. We'll say new. It's a couple months old now, but still got a handful of those babies. We've sold quite a few of those, honestly. If you want to.
Yep. Apparently, they're available now in a few record stores, thanks to our drummer between here and Knoxville, Tennessee.
That's pretty sweet.
So I'm not quite sure which ones. Like Indianapolis, Cincinnati, I think, and then 2 in Knoxville.
Well, that's awesome. So how's all that working out with those? I know you've dumped some records off at some record stores. How do you go about with the sales on that? Do you just split the sales with them, or how are you going with that?
Around Des Moines, they kind of do a split. We name the price, so it's the same price it is on our Bandcamp. And then the record store, for their graciousness of their space, they keep a percent. We keep the vast majority, thankfully.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool.
And that's how we do it.
Is that how it's going to go down in like Indianapolis and such, or is that just kind of one of those donated to them just to get the name out there things?
No, Clint had money for them, so we picked up some cash.
Nice.
So they paid for them. I mean, at least some of them did. I didn't really ask details. He's just like, here's money.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. You know, networking out like that is one of my favorite things, I guess, about, I mean, if you're in the DIY music scene or the punk music scene, it's kind of a necessity. That's a
Yeah.
lot of what we do anyways. So, that's something we talked a little bit about it on the previous interview we did with you and Clint, and that's something cool. I've never really been on a recording before, and then for my first recording to be on, to have it come out on vinyl was pretty sweet. Vinyl's coming back. A handful of my buddies bought them. I think of the box that I got to sell to my friends and things like that, I think I have one left, and
Cool.
I got CDs too as well. And for anybody wondering, the vinyls are $15. The CDs are $5. Otherwise, you can buy it digitally online for $5. All of that's on the Bandcamp page in the link down below.
I've got a few CDs left, but I'm starting to run pretty low on those.
Oh, nice. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how many CDs we ended up getting. Did we get 100 or something like that?
Yep.
So yeah, those are, it's like I said, it's pretty sweet. We play shows. Sometimes they're freaking jam-packed full. Sometimes they were sparsely populated. And, it was one of those things. It's like, are we going to be able to sell all these? And then before you know it, we're about a month into selling the things, and we're about, maybe about half empty already. And it was like, holy shit, this is kind of crazy. These people are coming out here in droves to buy this stuff. So, hats off to everybody that's...
Yep. We say thank you.
Yeah, been enjoying the tunes and supporting the music scene. It's something I feel like, especially with supporting the music scene, like I've been playing country music with Jesse Wilson. I guess we'll call it country loosely because it's like country rock, blues, mixed kind of stuff. But like, up north here, everybody is more than willing to support one another in any fashion they can. And down in the Des Moines scene, sometimes you get a little bit of let's just call it turmoil between bands, and it's kind of weird that happens, because up here there's like none of that for the most part. So I always think about like, man, we're going to release this album. Is everybody going to be receptive? Is everyone going to be nice or whatever? And, as far as us and Three Finger Betty, like none of us, as angry as our music is, none of us are really have any enemies or anything like that. So we've been able to stay.
Try not to get involved if there's drama.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's there is some, there's some in every scene. What's that?
They're just trying to play rock and roll,
Yeah. I mean, there's some of that in every scene, but like once again, if you remain positive, keep your chin up, go support other people's music, they'll come support your music, and that's something that I feel like is kind of been on a lot of our minds as of late, especially with COVID, finally sort of coming to an end, I guess. Not that, it's definitely not over or whatever, but I'm not, I don't know. I've got one of the vaccines. I already had COVID once. There's the way it's set up now is you can have shows, and there's people trying to say quit having shows. I mean, there's still people doing that, and I understand where they're coming from too, but at the same time, like, it's been a year and 2 months, and I'm ready to go back to normal in some capacity. I don't care what it is. I'm itching for it, and
yeah, like there was no right or wrong. We snuck in those two kind of calculated ones that were. A lot of people probably thought those were risky. I had a member or two of. Not in the music scene, but in my life, say something to me like, is this really that good of an idea? When we snuck like two in when cases were sort of declining before they went back up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was good for us. They were packed shows, which don't want to scare anybody. I hope everybody walked away safe. I know of nobody that didn't. That's
true.
And kudos to especially at Lefties, and we did the other one at the Fremont. Fremont was like, no moshing, none of this. Like, there is a pandemic going on. Lefties had tables. We're all masking at this point. So, I mean, but people wanted shows to happen. People came out.
Yeah, and I mean, once again...
now, I went to a show Friday. There was a lot of people there. The shows when we played at Hall for Boggs's birthday, that place was, they were hanging from the rafters, as they say in wrestling.
And they very much were, the lefty, like once again, that lefty show last year that we played, like you said, it wasn't like super mondo packed, but there were a lot of people wearing masks. Everybody social distance for the most part, and stayed clear of one another. 'Cause that was once again when we were still like, we don't know what's happening here. We need to stay as safe as possible or whatever. But the Fremont show was another one where like it was pretty packed, but there were a lot of people wearing masks and things like that. So we all, kept our distance best we could. I just stood in the corner. And the Boggs Hole Avenue show, that was another one where like it was pretty packed, but all of us in the Betty crew, we all just stayed in one corner and
stood in our corner.
Yep, then just stayed away and waited until it was our turn to play, and then we played, and we played at Boggs once. I think we talked about it a little bit on a previous podcast, but we stayed distant from everyone at one of the shows at Boggs by doing a remote show. It was when everything was closed, so what we did was we pseudo rented out the building, and so we played to an empty show. But even then, like, the cops ended up coming and telling us we couldn't do that. I think it was more of a noise ordinance thing.
Yeah,
but
somebody was calling them.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were using the noise ordinance as like the guys to close the show down or what it was, but it was one of those things where it's just like, well, I guess like there's live music here all the time anyways. What gives or whatever. But I guess if it's quiet for 2 or 3 months, that noise that shows up in the neighborhood, people are just like, what is this nonsense, and
maybe.
I don't know. And that's something that also bothered me. Remember when Valor Ballroom was having all those issues with noise ordinances, and it's like, you're the one who bought a house next to the Valor Ballroom. Like, don't yell at them over this,
Go look at those speakers they've got.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, it sucks too, because we lost, during COVID, we lost some of the fun venues we used to play at, most notably being Vaudeville Muse, and that sucks. I mean, you hear people say positive and negative things about Vaudeville Muse one way or the other, but it's still like it was a place to play. It was right downtown. People showed up to the shows, and it just kind of sucks because, I mean, there'd be some weeks there where we'd play. I mean, I remember playing there twice in a week. We played like a Tuesday show and then a Saturday show or whatever, and it sucks because that's not available anymore. So we're running out of places to play in the Des Moines area, and but luckily there's new places cropping up trying to fill the holes with live music, most notably probably being the Gas Lamp. They're kind of starting to take on all comers.
Coming up.
So
I am not at liberty to announce anything, but I actually have some insider knowledge about a potential new one coming soon in the few months.
Oh, that'll be cool.
But I am, again, that's, I know a lease has been signed, but I'm not at liberty to say anything else.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You almost don't want to say anything because as crazy as things have been, it's not just music venues that have been closing down. There's other businesses that have been closing their doors because of all this. So, it kind of sucks, but I guess it is, once again, it is the way it is. So I'm just stoked to be able to play shows again, rock and roll shows or heavy punk or whatever you want to call us, antisocial rock. I like that one. That was something that you called us once, so that's been up on most of the social medias. But as far as shows coming up, John's other band, the Shitkickers, they've got a show coming up May 22nd at the Fremont in Des Moines. That's one of those venues where, like, if you've never been there, I recommend it. It's not like a huge venue with a giant sound system and crazy lights and stuff, but it's such a fun place. It's like one of those hole-in-the-wall kind of places that you can go play at. For the most part, it's relatively cheap drinks. Sometimes they got food there. It's a nice place to hang out and kind of just enjoy yourself. And that was where I actually played my first show with you guys, and that was one of the more fun experiences I remember. I remember being pretty nervous to play a show with Three Finger Betty. I was like, I don't know, is this going to be good or not? But it actually ended up working out really, really well. So
always good. Fremont was where I played my first show, period, with the aforementioned Shitkickers, closing in on 10 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, that's the other thing when I look back at, like, the Betty crew, like, you've been doing that for almost 10 years now, too.
Yeah, because that evolved out of the Shitkickers.
Yeah, I think that was when I remember looking last. It was like 2013 or something like that was your first show with them. So
Yeah, if that would have been, sounds about right, and that would have been if that was the first Betty show, that was in the basement with just two of us.
yes, that was the Halloween show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're dressed up like Roddy Piper at that show.
Yeah.
I
I'm wearing
remember.
my kilt.
Yeah,
My homemade kilt.
I remember showing that video to some people, and they're like, "Why is a singer wearing a skirt?" And I was just like, "It's a kilt. It's a kilt. It's punk rock. Don't ask." You know?
It's Halloween. What do you want?
um,
But yeah, and that was with Jeff, Joffrey, Geoff, whatever he wishes to be called.
yeah,
On the drums, who is now on the bass for Betty,
yep,
but he is still the drummer for the Shitkickers. And we now that Mr. Kale's children are a little older and things have settled down in life, he can do more.
yeah.
So we thought we'd roll one or two out. We're not exactly full-time active, but, we survived the plague, so we wanted to maybe do one or two.
Yeah.
Jeff likes to play drums.
Yeah, I think about that kind of stuff too. Now that you mention that, like everyone in Three Finger Betty splits their time between multiple bands now. You're in the Shitkickers and the Sleepover and Three Finger Betty, and Clint is in Three Finger Betty and the Sleepover, and he plays sometimes with his brother in a band called Last in Line. They play cover tunes, as well as Clint plays in a metal band that's based out of St. Louis every now and then. That's called
Speedrun is still alive.
Yep. So Clinton, he's always been one of those guys that's in like 3, 4, 5 bands or whatever, because that's just the way of the drummer. But
Yep.
But
Doing it. I just did a session thing for a guy named Danny Price in the economic. So I guess I'm a member of the Economic Collapse band.
oh, nice.
At least for track.
That's pretty cool.
But stuff like that, little one-off things, that's fun.
Yeah, that's kind of actually what got your foot in the door for the Sleepover, honestly, wasn't it? You did like a one-off thing for a track.
Yeah, I did a guitar solo on their last album, "Why People Die," I think is the name of the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, those one-off things are actually kind of fun. That's kind of how I got involved with playing with Jesse, honestly, too. Because let's go back down the line, Joffrey or Geoff or
we'll call him Jeff.
Yeah, it's Jeff. He's the new Jeff, but
New Jeff.
He plays drums in the Shitkickers. Now he plays bass in Three Finger Betty. And I play guitar in Three Finger Betty as well as I guess I call it moonlighting with other people. I'm pretty much an unofficial member now of the Jesse Wilson music clan. It's the two of us and whoever else decides to show up. He likes to invite other people at shows, or if there's other musicians in the crowd, it's just like I'm just like take the guitar off my shoulder, like you're playing, like get up here, play a couple licks on this thing, So it's
Every night is a jam night.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how we met each other and stuff like that. And I believe it or not, I honestly, when I first started playing with Jesse live, I had a bass guitar and an amp in my car, and he's just like, bring it in. And so I just played like a bass on a show with him one time, and so that's it is what it is. We're all kind of like just busy musicians playing all sorts of different instruments, doing whatever we can to add to the scene out there, and whatever scene we're in, and I'm from up north in northern Iowa, and you're right there buried deep in the heart of central Iowa, and it's I don't know. I think you'll probably agree with me, though. I just like playing music, more than anything.
Yeah. I don't get to play. I got other commitments, but it's fun. I'd like to do it more, but there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I like old-timey music. I haven't touched a mandolin in a long time, but I can play one.
Yeah, I remember one show you were playing with the Shitkickers, and you picked up was it a Mando Strat? Or was it a Mando Bird?
Mando Bird, like a little firebird.
Yeah, and so you were playing electric mandolin at one of the shows there one time for one of the songs, and I was like, that's pretty cool. That doesn't happen too often. I feel like that kind of stuff needs to happen a little bit more. That's one of the benefits of going to like jam nights and things like that, is you kind of don't know who's going to show up and what they're going to bring.
With what?
Yeah, I mean, one of the more recent jam nights I went to in Barnum, there was a guy that brought a wash tub bass there, and
Nice.
yeah, and so he had the whole like pull the stick tighter to make the string tighter to play different notes, and he was an old timer, and it worked out really well, honestly. The downside was we couldn't get his internal pickup to work on the wash tub to amplify it, but when we all quieted down and stuff, you could still hear what he was doing, and it was like, that's pretty freaking neat, you know. There's not too many younger guys out there doing the wash tub bass thing, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just like playing music. I don't care who it's with. I mean, I played the show with Clint Riedel not terribly long ago, and so I played some folk music and stuff like that too, and it's nice to be able to stretch my wings and use some of the other gear that I have, you know, because I've been kind of flip-flopping between a different setup with Three Finger Betty, and I've finally decided to go back to the original setup I had, you know, because I was for a while I was running 2x12 cabinets, and I just couldn't get them to sound the way I wanted to. I like that 4x12 sound or whatever, but you know, it's just is what it is. So I don't know if you have your phone. My phone's in use right now, otherwise I'd pull it all up and look, but the Shitkickers have that show on May 22nd. Do you know who else is on that show?
Yeah, we are playing with a band called Ellison, I believe let me get that right. But they're more metal, and I've seen their name a lot recently, which I think is pretty cool. Find my events.
Yeah.
How can I be so unprepared?
Well, I could have written it down ahead of time, but I didn't.
Yeah. So, or
is it
Elysian or something?
Yeah.
Elision.
I would call that Elysian.
Elysian. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's right.
Then from the band from out of town, from Wisconsin, is a punk band, I believe, called the Size Fives.
Cool.
And I'm kind of excited because this is the first I've heard of this band. Bigby Woods is a pop punk band from Des Moines.
No way. Oh, cool. The world needs more pop punk.
I'm kind of excited to see that. See some locals. I was like, do I know any of these people? Like,
yeah.
You know?
That's the other thing about COVID.
Maybe.
It like some bands collapsed and folded, and other bands popped up because, you know, nobody has anything to do. Some people couldn't go to work and things like that. So there's new bands have been forming, and it's kind of fun to see what's going to come of that, you know, in 2021 and beyond. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked to see new shows and see what's going on. That show, for everybody wondering, is May 22nd. You can find it online at the Shitkickers page. I'll put a link to that down below in the description section.
We're not exactly a social media band.
Yeah, that's something else
it's just
too.
Us.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've seen bands do the social media thing, and I've seen bands not do the social media thing, and I've seen bands do the merch thing and not do the merch thing. And I mean, to each their own. It is what you want to make it. And I've seen bands succeed both ways, and I've seen bands fail both ways. So it's not really it's not really something to like hold the measuring stick up to a band as to how good they're going to be, because it's something you think like, well, this band only has 250 followers on Facebook. They're probably going to suck. And then you go see them live and you're like, this is awesome. You know, so those social media numbers don't necessarily mean good music, you know, because you could pump those up and fake them out and pay for followers or pay for likes or pay for listens on Spotify and things like that. And, you know, I know people that have done that too as well. And once again, to each their own, I guess. It is what it is. But how long's it been since you played a Shitkickers show?
We did, the last show we played, I think, was at Hull, and it might have been 2020, but it might have been 2019.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it was kind of the show at the time when I was jumping into the Sleepover and getting involved with that, where it was like, well, I'm going to do that a little more active. Jeff was going to back to college. That was right when he started doing that. And, Cale, he works full time, has 2 kids, his wife, and he own a pretty cool small business called KIN Ken in the East Village in Des Moines. So that'll keep you busy. Running a business. So it just was like, well, we'll just kind of get together less.
Yeah.
We didn't break up. But it was like, well, we're just not going to do this like we used to.
Yeah, you said 2019. I was like, what? That can't be right. And then I was thinking, oh, yeah, the entirety of 2020 got pretty much deleted, So, yeah, it could very well be true. It has been a while since I've seen you guys play,
And Kale was very cautious during COVID, did not come out much,
Yeah, once again, when you got your own family and you're trying to run a business and do all that other stuff, I don't really blame people, to some extent. You got to do what you think is best for you and the people around you, I remember listening to another Iowa podcast that's based around music. It's actually called the Iowa Music Podcast, believe it or not. It's a good name. Very pertinent. But that's pretty much what they said was like, if you feel like you're okay going out to play a show, go play a show, but just keep in mind, like, would you be okay with getting someone else sick if you're sick? And, and it's like, well, I guess it's a pretty good point, But exactly. I also think about that. I was always that way, though, too, where, like, if I felt sick, I wouldn't go to work because I don't want to get someone else sick, and if I felt sick later, I'd hit people up, and this is way pre-COVID, if I got sick tomorrow and I had band practice, tonight, I'd call everyone that I went to band practice with and be like, I don't feel good today, so take your vitamins, and hydrate up. And I hope I didn't get any of you guys sick standing in the same room. I don't care what it, like I said, that was all pre-COVID, and I just wish people would, at least take that into the, the next following years and the rest of their life with this, especially like just generally speaking, we're all crammed in some venues like sardines and things like that. And you can miss a day of work. You can miss a day of band practice, and I also get the whole fact where, like, if you book a show and you don't feel good and it's just like, well, you probably, should you go to the show? Should you not go to the show? You already booked it. What's the right call? And it's like, I'm not sure. It's up to whoever's playing it, I guess. Yeah.
And that, fortunately, haven't been in that situation. That would be a tough spot right now. Like if somebody in the band was like, I'm like, the day before is like, I'm running a fever and I'm this and this, and like right now I'm like, you probably have to go like, well, I guess you're staying home, bud.
Yeah.
We'll do what we have to do.
Yep. I guess we're gonna be a 3-piece tonight or whatever, And
I right now I wouldn't say it would be irresponsible to do otherwise.
Yeah.
But I've also, the last thing you ever want to do is not play a show you booked.
Yeah, it does reflect pretty poorly, if the whole band pulls out on a show. And I mean, you and I have played on shows where it's been like that, though, where we show up to the show, there's 4 bands on the bill, and it's us and one other band, and that's all that showed up, Yeah. And it's like, where are the other guys? And then the promoter doesn't know that 2 of the bands dropped out, and it's like, they told somebody in the other band, they're like, we're not coming or whatever, and it's like, if you're going to do that kind of stuff, at least communicate with everyone so they know what they're getting into, because like I said, we showed up to a show one time and it was supposed to be us and 3 other bands, and one of the bands broke up and didn't tell anyone, and the other band just didn't show up to the show, and it was like, what is that nonsense? You could have said something to somebody, I know it's a little embarrassing making that call, but you could have at least said something, so... yeah, I guess that just is what it is,
People are people, and you figure out who's reliable, who isn't.
True.
That's not a call out on anyone. It's just, it happens.
It does, and once again, it just comes back to like, you got to understand, like, bands are businesses to an extent, even if we're not making gazillions of dollars or anything like that. But bands are businesses, so you got to communicate with everyone and let them know. I'm going to be here at this time on this day, and if you can't, let everybody know. Let the other bands know. If there's a promoter, let the promoter know and tell them to let the other bands know. So everybody's kind of in the know about what's going on in case they have to play extended sets and things like that. And it's I guess it's just the way it is. So That Shitkickers show is going to be a fun one, May 22nd. Once again, I got links down below to the Shitkickers information if you guys want to check out that show. That's down in Des Moines.
We'll have some fun surprises. We always do.
Yeah, the Shitkickers always do some fun stuff at shows, whether it be, like you said, busting out that Mando bird, the electric mandolin, or playing like odd cover tunes or whatever it happens to be. You guys have always... It seems like at almost every show there's something weird going on. Jeff singing.
There's always a half a cover, and well, I think we're going to have a tribute to a recently deceased celebrity during the show.
Yeah, well, that doesn't really narrow it down. So I guess if you want to figure that
was what somebody said on social media, and I don't want to go any further than that without consulting. I think he might drop hints getting closer to the show.
There you go. So if you guys are wondering what that's all about, make sure you follow the social media for the Shitkickers, or go to the show and figure out what he's talking about. I think that's kind of fun too, just teasing that stuff out there, being like, here's a vague thing about what's going to go on, and if you really want to be in on the joke, you got to show up and figure it out yourself.
Are you interested? But no, it will be fun. I'll tell you about what we're going to do when the camera's off.
All right, that sounds good. Otherwise, that's another one of those things, is trying to set up band practices for Three Finger Betty lately has kind of been a train wreck, I guess you could say. Jeff's going back. I mean, we're figuring it out, but Jeff's going back to school. I recently completed school. I've been playing in another band. My weekends are now starting to fill up with bookings with Jesse Wilson, so I'm trying to split my time between two bands and things like that. But, Clint's been traveling a little bit here because Kelsey's going back to school in a sense. I guess if anybody, wants to know, Kelsey's going to wrestling school, and hats off to her. That's something really cool. That's something I wish I would have done, honestly, like when I was growing up. But now I'm a little past my prime.
Paying her to be security at our shows.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, just gonna have to slap people in headlocks and shit. Oh man, don't try and get her in a hammerlock. She'll be able to reverse that thing easy.
Yep.
So yeah, other than having a new bassist and such, we're gonna have a new Three Finger Betty recording session coming up here not too long. I guess on the podcast we can talk about it. What's the plans for the recording session? Are we going to do singles? Are we going to release it as an EP? Are we going to do another 7-inch vinyl? Or how are we going to do that?
Basically, we're doing a half-hour recording session. So, we're going to prep as many songs as we can get into that half hour. And hopefully, according to plan, we should be able to release EP number 2, and hopefully get maybe get a 7-incher out of it.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I know some of the songs are going to be re-recordings of the demo that got recorded, but there's going to be some new tunes on there, and
definitely going to hit the classic old stuff, which was. A lot of that, frankly, would have been written with the intent of playing with the Shitkickers, but it would have, and some of those things were, but it morphed into, where we're at.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something else about like the punk scene is like punk bands covering other punk band stuff, and that was like one of the benefits of you being like the co-writer on a lot of those Shitkickers tunes was the fact that like in Betty we could play Shitkickers tunes, and. You already knew the lyrics, and knew the song structures. So all we had to do was just have everyone else in Three Finger Betty add our spice to it, and boom, we got, we're covering Shitkickers tunes. So even if the Shitkickers don't have an album out, you can still listen to some of their tunes, possibly with Three Finger Betty flavor coming up here pretty quick. So
yeah, it's stuff that I was mostly responsible for writing. We'll have a couple of it recorded soon.
So that'll be pretty cool. I mean, that's going to be coming up at the end of the month. Or are we going to do 1 day or 2 days worth of recording on that?
We're just, we're going to kind of do it guerrilla style like we did the first one. We're going to go in and be ready and hammer them out.
Yeah. I guess right.
And then at a later date, I'll go hit a vocal booth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, for everyone wondering, that's that's how we did our recording. I mean, there's many different ways to do recording. You can do it all to a metronome. You can do it not to a metronome. You can do everything one track at a time. You can, let's record the drums first, and then the bass, and then the guitars, and then the leads, and then the vocals or whatever. But we wanted to keep that high energy feel that we have when we're live, because that's one of the things I think about Three Finger Betty is I always try to keep it like as high energy of a show as we can get. I'm always moving around on stage and trying to ham it up as much as possible, and so that's just something I feel like, how can we translate this to an album the best way we can? And we decided to do it all in one shot, all in the same room, the live recording style that was made popular, back in the day when they had those giant recording halls that people could go into with their own ISO booths or whatever. And I think it translated really well on our last EP, on our self-titled EP. So I feel like that's going to be something that, there it is again, once again, for everybody watching video, y'all get that lucky sneak peek. But if you're looking for one of those, hit the Bandcamp. It's down below. There's a link down below for that. But I feel like it translated really well on that album. And
it sounded like us.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with tracking. The demo we did in 2016 is, well, no, we did. I overdubbed leads. That wasn't track. That was live too. But there's nothing wrong with tracking.
No.
And I don't know. The energy is very, very different.
Very much so. I mean, when we first attempted to record the EP, that's how we did it. We did it all tracking style to a metronome. And it sounded good. It sounded really tight. We could really snap everything right into place. But like you said, it felt like it zapped a little bit of the energy out of what we were doing, Mm-hmm. And
it was sterile.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I've heard plenty of really good things that were recorded to metronomes and single tracked and duplicated or whatever, but it just didn't fit for what we were trying to go for, and it didn't feel like a good representation of what we were doing live. And that's, once again, hats off to Ben Hall. I guess or Misha of that's the online pseudonym of Ben, but Speed of Sound Studios, one way or the other, Speed of Sound Studios in Des Moines. It's one of my favorite, recording studios down there. And that's one of those ones that just started from the ground up, and we were one of the first people to hop in there and do some recording. As
came in through a Sleepover connection, because he records Sleepover.
Yeah, that's
So I met him.
And that's another one, like networking with other bands, seeing how they got things done, and I can understand to an extent some bands wanting to keep some of their secrets close to their chest, but at the same time, like, I've also been a big fan of just like, if somebody wants to know the information and they reached out, I'll tell it to them. I don't care, that's so. If anybody's looking for some place to record in Des Moines for a very fair price,
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's not cheap, but it's very fair compared to going to like like a dedicated recording place that is like giant and huge, where they got to pay all the heat and electricity and rent a building and do all the taxes on buildings and things like that. So it's very cost effective for the amount of awesomeness that's going to come out of it when it's all said and done, and
yeah, the beauty of it is Speed of Sound. It's just like we'll give another shout out to Doug at Anytime Studios out in Nebraska. Mm-hmm. He works with each band performer client individually. It's a tailored project. So what's the best way to do it, and what's the most effective way to do it, and it's priced to that. Somebody might be doing it at an hourly rate. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to maybe be doing it, okay, you're going to do this much for us, and I'm going to pay you this much, and we're going to do it on this day.
Yep.
So, I mean, and that's I think that's smart. Everybody's going to get their best result doing it a certain way. Yeah,
and I mean, it's Speed of Sound. They'll work with you on like how you want to do things. Like we said earlier, we wanted to do it all as live feel as possible, and the only thing we added in on the back end was the vocals. Mm-hmm. And so
some sound effects.
Yeah, and so what you hear on the album, every song is one take, solos and all, and that's the way we wanted to do it, and that's how they got it done there, and Like we did that one show during COVID as a live stream at Anytime Studios in Omaha with Doug, and that was one of those other really cool ones where Doug was nice enough where it's like, hey, if you'll come here and let me put this content on my page, what I will do for you is record it, do a quick mix, and send it back to you, and you can put the audio on your page. So there's video of us playing in Omaha at a studio on the Anytime Studios YouTube channel. But if you want to listen to the audio for that, we decided not to put that out as an album on Spotify and things like that. But it is available on Bandcamp there, and it's actually a really, really, really decent recording for just showing up in one day, setting up some mics, and going to town. So, also on that, what's
cool
that?
thing that was a one of those punk rock networking connections. We met Doug when he was with the Shitkickers at Rest in Peace at that punk rock pizza party at Vaudeville Muse in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking to him after the show, I thought the Shitkickers were great.
Oh, they were awesome.
And then, friend him on Facebook. Hey, this guy's got a studio. And he starts doing those. Hit him up. Hey, what if we came over and did this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and I mean that's something else where like if I'm online or you're online or one of us is online and we see something, we just message the whole band like, hey, I saw this. Does it sound like something anyone wants to do? Mm-hmm. So we'll kick it around and be like, hey, if we all decide, yeah, let's go for it, we just send the message out and pray for the best and see what happens, And that was one of those ones where we drove over there, and I'd say about a half an hour from Omaha, we ran into a blizzard,
Yep.
And so, go figure. But that was one of those fun things where, we showed up there and it's just snowing like hell. My car wouldn't even make it.
Get up the hill in the parking lot.
My car wouldn't even make it up the hill in the parking lot, so I had to like park around the corner and haul all of our stuff. But Doug came out and helped us haul all of our stuff. So I mean, huge hats off to Anytime Studios. The hospitality there was insane.
They cooked enough food for a fucking army.
Yeah,
I'm eating to the point where I can't eat anymore. And
yeah,
look at all this food that is still here.
Yeah, I think that's just one of the funnest things about that place. Doug was trying his best to establish his name as a studio, and I mean, I honestly wouldn't be opposed to going over there and recording something with him sometime. Something more official. And I know he's still doing those shows over there, those live stream shows. So if anybody's looking for some fun live streams to watch, or if you're looking to do a little traveling, if you're in the Iowa area, just swing on over to the Omaha area. Find Anytime Studios online and hit them up and say, hey, are you still doing those live streams? Because I know I've seen a few of them, and he tries to do one every Saturday, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think he gets one night most of the time.
Yeah, most weekends he's got a band.
Watch at least a clip or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they stream live on YouTube, and I know for a fact that people watch the one that we had. So, I mean,
yeah, I got messages from people from Omaha area that saw that first time they'd ever seen us, and sent a kind message on Instagram.
Yeah, I think one of the fun parts about that was I always think one of the funnest things about Three Finger Betty is we do this high energy rock that just like it's literally like just like punching people in their face. It's so high energy, and then at the end of the show we do these like really, really mellow, trippy jams, and it's almost every single show we'll end it with a jam, unless we're on like a show where the time constraints won't allow it.
If we're in a support role.
Yeah, so like we're not gonna go up there and be like, well, we filled up our 45 minutes and here's a 10-minute jam to end it's like, no, we don't have time, let's just end it and call it good or whatever. But that was one of the other fun things, was we got a few messages about that where people were just like, dude, I didn't know you guys could play this stuff too. And it's like, yeah, we're musicians, we like to play music. Yeah, we're not just playing power chords and calling it good. We can all play pretty well, so those jam sessions, that's another fun one. I had somebody even say like, dude, if you guys could string together an hour of those, you guys could start booking a whole bunch of different crazy stuff. But I don't know. Like I wouldn't be opposed to starting a jam band.
Weird festivals.
Yeah. Those jam sessions are tons of fun, though. I mean, like for anybody really wondering, I pulled some audio from one of those jam sessions and turned it into the Audible Farm intro music. So That's where that intro music comes from, or the outro music, whatever you want to call it. But in Three Finger Betty, we do have some shows coming up. Actually, I know we've got the May 28th show at the Gas Lamp that we just recently booked. I don't have on my available to me who's on that show.
They're from Canada, the touring band.
Oh yeah, that's right.
13 Fridays. I will verify that momentarily.
Yeah, I was pretty sure the band had 13 in the name, but I didn't want to.
Yeah. 13 Fridays. And then Dead Presidents is listed. And us.
Nice. And that's May 28th.
Canadian alternative rock band from Oakville, Ontario, formed in 2019.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Fridays.
So one of the cool things about that is, like, even though our social media got hacked and the Three Finger Betty page got wrecked.
Two-factored.
You're now two-factor authenticated.
Two-factor.
That's the way to go. If anybody didn't listen to the solo episode I did talk about some things you can do to kind of help protect your social media account on one of the solo episodes a few weeks back. So check that out. But we're still getting bookings. We're still having people hit us up. I've noticed a lot of people are starting to like the new page. There's the new link down below to the Three Finger Betty stuff. So if you guys are looking for the new Three Finger Betty page, it's down below. Make sure you click the link and give us a like on Facebook. But all the other social media is still the same. The email contact is still the same. The booking information is still the same. So you can hit us up any way you like, Instagram or whatever. The email as well, which is listed on the new Facebook page. It's still listed on the old Facebook page as well. So that May 28th show at Gas Lamp, once again, that was one that just got emailed in to us, and we just, we did the whole band message thing. We're like, hey, can we do this? Is everybody cool? And my schedule was free that day, and I guess the way I'm doing it right now is first come, first serve on bookings, since Jesse's really picking up bookings. So
that's sort of how it goes. I just unfortunately had to tell Emery no on a date he just asked me about early right before we started, because of we're doing a show.
Yeah.
Our other Gas Lamp show, July 16th, opening for the one and only Rumors.
Yeah, and I think
with some other bands.
I think Other Brothers is on there, and there might be one other band. Display Case is also on there. That'll be cool. Yeah. So
that's gonna be good. Yep.
I do know in a previous podcast somebody was just like, have you heard of Other Brothers? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen them live. So I'm actually pretty stoked to see them live, and it's gonna be cool because I'll be able to share a stage with them.
That show is liable to be rather packed.
Yeah, the Rumors pack the house. It doesn't really matter where they go.
I had a fun adventure at their last Des Moines show a month or so ago at Lefty's with Jason Boggs.
Oh yeah,
we went out to that, and there was lots of folks there.
Yes, yeah.
We're rocking.
I remember playing a show with them at Hull, Boggs Hull Avenue Tavern, and then that was with Three Finger Betty, and there was also, I know the Shitkickers played a show with them at Hull as well. Packed house, man. It's always a packed house with those guys. I think we even played with them once at Vaudeville.
We played with them at Vaudeville. That was that was like the punk. It was Shock Treatment, the Ramones tribute.
Oh yeah. That's. I mean that. I just do have to say, like, the Rumors are one of the heavy hitters in the area. They've been playing around not just the Midwest, but they go on little mini tours here and there. And I think this is gonna kind of help bookend one of their mini tours they're doing. So, hats off to the Rumors for inviting us along on that to play with them. And that's one of those things where,
with them.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where they've seen us before, we've played shows with them before, and they know we're reputable, so they hit us up again, and that's one of my favorite things about that is if you can bring it, other bands notice, and they'll hit you up for the booking if they want you on the show. And that wasn't one where we had to like try and elbow our way in and be like, hey, we saw you have a show coming up, can we hop on that or whatever? Because we've done that before, but it's also kind of rough to try to do that. It's kind of I feel like kind of dicky doing that kind of stuff, but
yeah. It's not dicky, but there's a stage in the evolution where sometimes you gotta be like, hey, no, we're here. No, yeah, you know us. Let us give us a shot.
Yeah.
And that's I think we kind of did that to Matt Mutt a couple times, getting on a couple of his punk shows to where he was like, okay, these guys are all right.
Yeah.
And so
Well, that also comes.
And now we don't really, not to toot an old horn, but now we don't really have to do that.
Yeah. And that's one of those things, too, where, like, once again, people have families and lives and other things going on, or maybe they got band practices, or they're going to a different show or whatever, but not every band can go and watch everyone else, you know? Like I said, with other brothers, I'm from northern Iowa. It's 2-hour drive one way to get to Des Moines, you know? So I don't have the opportunity to see all these Des Moines bands all the time, and sometimes the only ways I get to see them is when we're booked on a show with them, you know? And there's nothing against that. I would definitely go to more Des Moines shows if I had the availability to do it or the time to do it, etc. But, you know, now that my weekends are starting to fill up with more bookings, splitting my time between two bands, it just is what it is, you know. So I'm excited to see new bands. I always am excited to see new bands and share the stage with somebody new and see where we fit in on you know, on the card with other people, because the best part about the indie music scene, I guess I want to call it indie music, but the independent artists that are playing music in Des Moines and beyond is everyone's got their own spin on something, you know. Even though we share 2 members with the Shitkickers, we're very different than the Shitkickers. And even though our Three Finger Betty shares 2 members with the Sleepover, very different band than the Sleepover, you know. So it just, you know, that's one of my favorite things about it. You know, everybody throws their spin on something and gets a little different thing going, and you know, it just is what it is. We should
maybe we'll set something up one day. We'll get something really crazy going. I'm thinking back to something that happened in the 90s where a raucous sort of punk rock and roll band called the Super Suckers backed Willie Nelson.
Oh, that'd be wild.
And punked up like Bloody Mary Morning and stuff like that. Because the Super Suckers will release straight country albums too, like traditional country music. So it just clicked in my head live. It's like maybe we'll back up Jesse Wilson as a band.
Oh, that'd be tons of fun. And I mean, that
could be very interesting.
And I mean,
I want to come up there and watch you guys whip it up. You got people throwing their underwear at the stage up there watching.
pretty much. Believe it or not, I mean, it's wild playing live music in all the different venues that I've got to play in. You know, people go nuts for all different kinds of music. You know, and that's something I'm realizing at the Jesse Wilson shows is he'll play like hip hop songs and rap songs and new country and old country and 80s rock. I mean, we're starting to fold in like Whitesnake songs into this and stuff too. So like, I mean, he throws something out there for everybody. So like, you could have people line dancing to one, and then the very next song, the dance floor is cleared and you got like people grinding on each other, you know, and it's like that's what you want to see, you know. And if there's kids in the audience, he'll tailor it to the kids, you know, and if there's older people, he'll tailor it to the older people, you know. He's starting to get really good at that. So it's kind of fun to see all the different venues and all the different people that are showing up and what they like to hear. And you know, some people like all the music, you know, and that's kind of where I'm starting to sit at finally in my life, where I'm not turning my nose up at things anymore. And I talked with Jesse a little bit about that, where it's like, I'm not the biggest country fan, but now that I've started to play more of it and hear more of it, I'm realizing that some of it's really fun to play along to. And I'm starting to, you know, learn who sings what songs, you know, and beforehand I just went in there blindly and I'm just like, he's like, let's play some, you know, or whatever, George Strait. And it's just like, okay, I don't know who that is, but like rockin', like I've heard the name, but cool, you know, like, you know, but then now I'm starting to figure it out or whatever. And it's pretty fun. I would love to.
Good stuff.
I would love to mush a show together somewhere. Like, I can't remember. We were talking about something, you and I once, or Three Finger Betty Camp, about booking a show somewhere once, and it was just like, you know, we could have Jesse come in here and split the time, you know, because his setup is pretty simple as far as what he needs to make a show happen. So we could have the availability where like Jesse opens up, we play a set, Jesse plays like in between, we play another set, and then Jesse closes it. You know, we could just bookend the whole thing around like that. And you know, that booking multiple different styles on one show, it can be really beneficial. I mean, sometimes it's not, but it can be really beneficial because there's something there for everybody.
Yeah. I like the multi-genre shows, but it's a gamble because the crowd might be there for one genre.
Yep.
And then you piss them off when that genre is done.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that, but it's like you hope people are a little more open-minded, give stuff a chance.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing about Three Finger Betty though, is we bridge just enough genres where we're like we can hang with the metal guys a little bit, and then we can also hang with the rock people, and we can go into the punk genre and play with them, you know, and because we bridge the gaps between all those, sometimes we go to the punk shows and it's like, we fit the energy for a punk show, but there's like shreddy solos and stuff, and not all punk music has shreddy solos, you know, but because we got the metal style drums and the shreddy solos, we can fit in with the metal dudes, but like sometimes it's too amped up and high energy and run around and mosh type stuff for the metal guys if they want to doom it up a little bit or whatever, you know. And
The serious musicians. No.
Yeah, I don't know, or we're not wearing enough black for the show or whatever it happens to be, or you know. Just that's a nice inside joke, but like I don't know, it's just I don't know. I do like the multi-genred shows. I really do, and I do feel the pain sometimes where you're just kind of like, oh, this music was not made for me, I guess would be the nicest way to say it, you know. And
happens.
And once again, I've learned as I play music live and go to more shows to not turn my nose up at that, you know. I used to just be like, well, I'm going in the parking lot, you know, but I'll stick around for shows and enjoy them though too, because I've learned that like when people make music that's not for me, it's kind of fun to be like, oh, that's something I would have never thought of, you know. And you can always watch different bands and kind of incorporate something they're doing live into whatever you're doing. So you just pick your favorite stuff and incorporate it into whatever you feel like you need to do live. And yeah, I don't know. There's, like I said, the multi-genre shows are fun. I'm glad to see shows are starting to book back up again. And people are showing up, man. People are starting to show up.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some good crowds. They haven't announced the band list, so I won't name the event, but we get to go back to Omaha here in a few months.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
That's going to be fun.
That's right. I'll have to double check that date and make sure it's in my calendar. I forgot to put that one on my calendar, so I'll have to put that one in there. I'm going to write a note for myself so I remember. Splitting my time between bands. Now I got to really have to... That'll be July
17th, I believe. But that's all I'll say.
All right. Whoop, Omaha show. Boom, I got to put that in my calendar. But yeah, I mean, that's something else I'm learning too, is like, what's the best way to go about splitting my time between bands? And that's, like I said, that's something you've had some experience with because you've got multiple bands. And I mean, we've had bookings where people hit up Three Finger Betty and it's like, hey, can you play this show? And you're like, sorry, I'm shit kicking that day, you know, or I'm doing the sleepover thing or whatever. And it's like, we can't. And it's unfortunate. I hate turning down shows.
Well, what's fun is, and this is by no means a complaint, but usually I field 90% of the booking inquiries for Three Finger Betty. So I'm like, at one point before COVID, I was like, okay, somebody wants us to play a show like this. Is Clint playing in any of his 8 bands on this day?
Yeah.
Are the Shitkickers doing anything? Are you doing anything this day?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I've checked 20 different things. We're good.
Yeah, and hats off to you for doing that too.
I'm exaggerating, but it might get to that point, especially with Jesse. It's like, oh, okay, this is a really good offer, but shit, I might have something. And then you throw families and everything else into that, vacations and.
Dude, you've been really good at that, honestly. That's something. Fun. That's something I do have to give a hats off to you for. Is you're really good at communicating with people and talking to people in the bands. And in Three Finger Betty, we hold no quarter. We're always pretty open and honest with each other, whether or not we want to do shows or can do shows or things like that. So. Yeah, like I said, hats off to you, because when you said Clint's in 8 bands, at one point in time, that wasn't much of a stretch, you know? Three Finger Betty. Yeah, I mean, it's like Three Finger Betty, Sleepover, Speed Run. He was in Unity. He was in Dark Mirror. He was playing shows with Thorhammer out of St. Louis. Last in Line was his brother's cover band. He was doing shows with he did like 3 shows with the Silverbacks. The Silverbacks for a while, because they were in between drummers. Yeah, so... I mean, I think that's 8 right there. It might be 7, but still, like, yeah, he's a busy guy doing a lot of shows and things like that. So,
I think he's been doing some session stuff for somebody.
Cool.
I don't know.
You know, I mean,
here and there.
That's just the way it is. I guess let's put it this way: if you're looking for an awesome drummer that you want to have do some session work or recording on an album, and you don't have a drummer, hit up Clint, our drummer in Three Finger Betty. He's probably one of the best. I would always just say he's one of the best in the state at playing, you know, rock, punk, and metal. So, I mean, there are definitely other drummers that are very, very good, but there's a reason he's in 8 bands.
Yeah.
So I guess we're getting close to an hour here, but let's just reiterate stuff. Shitkickers got a show coming out May 22nd. Find the Shitkickers links down below. Three Finger Betty's got shows booked for May 28th and July 16th. Both of those are at the Gas Lamp in Des Moines. And there's Three Finger Betty links are down below, including the new Facebook link. We also have the Omaha show that's will be announced pretty soon, and that we'll just say go follow the page to learn more info on that. Once again, the Facebook page got hacked, and it is no longer in our control. And I have went down about 1 billion different avenues to try to get that thing fixed. Facebook is
so many reports you can send.
Yeah, Facebook is like nearly impossible to get a hold of. And the worst part about that was like, we tried to report the old page and say that it was, not us anymore. And I've sent out so many emails and phone calls and left voicemails and messages and contacted anyone and everyone I could possibly think about contacting to try to get that old page back. And it's not easy to get a hold of Facebook and go through those avenues, because nobody wants to hit you back up because they're just like, they only got like 1,000 likes, it's not a big deal or whatever, and it sucks, but it's just the way it is. So one of the worst things that was whoever hacked the page and took it over tried to say that they own Three Finger Betty's intellectual properties and tried to shut our new page down, and it's like, what the hell, you just can't win. So if we end up, I've been posting more on the Instagram page instead of the Facebook page, but there is still stuff being posted on the Facebook page, so check that out. Otherwise, check out the Instagram account for Three Finger Betty.
And look for our new page. The only thing at this point, I'm like in the back of my head, I'm like, who's hit us up on the old page? And like, well, screw these guys, they don't respond.
Yeah, and that's
no, it's not. It got hijacked.
Yeah, and that's the worst.
Look for the new one.
Yeah, so if anybody's trying to contact us, hit up the new page or just send us an email. That was what, if you go to the Facebook page, new or old, and you're looking for email contact, that's how it's listed. Booking information is contact us via email.
That's two-factored.
Yes. So our new page we're all as secure as we can be now, two-factor authenticated, and password's been changed and everything. So our new page should be there for a while unless somebody else hacks into things. But I have also noticed there's been like a recent influx of Facebook, page hacks and things like that going on. So if you want to know more information about that, check out the solo episode I did a couple weeks ago to learn how to keep yourself secure. But also in the Betty camp, we got that recording coming up, and that's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to get some more stuff, coming down the pipeline on that. I know we're recording here probably at the end of the month, but the as far as how long it's going to take to get mixed and mastered and who's going to do all that, and then how long is it going to take to get physical copies, et cetera, and blah, 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 blah. Might take a while, but maybe
should go a little quicker this time now that we know more what we're doing and we're not doing it in the middle of a plague.
Yeah, and hopefully prices haven't spiked too much because COVID has kind of wrecked the pricing on everything. Thank God vinyls aren't printed on lumber.
Oh, God.
Lumber prices are insane right now.
Sorry for anybody building a deck.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeff, our old bassist, sent me a message. He's like, I think lumber prices hit the guitar market because now guitars are going up in price. And it's like, well, the instrument market has actually gone up quite a bit, honestly, lately. But I was just like, yeah, if you sell any instruments, I'd sell them for like, some cryptocurrency at this point in time. Oh, man. So
should have bought that Bitcoin 15 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I did a little bit of that, a little dabbling around with some of that a while back, and and I'm not. Everyone always says my only regret is I wished I would have bought more because it's not like I can retire or anything. But I did make a little bit of money on some of that. Woohoo! But whatever. I just you can never outguess what's going to happen or anything like that. But that just is what it is, and that has really nothing to do with what we're talking about. But I guess. It is nice to see that shows are coming back and people are being positive about it. For a while there, you and I both know there was like, a little bit of turmoil going on with people playing shows. And I mean, there were some shows damn near being like picketed for happening. You know, people were damn near just being like, shame every one of these people as much as possible for playing a show. And it's like, I guess if you don't want to do a show, don't do a show, but also don't try and drag everyone else down. You know,
there's nothing. There's no point from any side for doing that.
No, not much positive can come out of it. You know, you're just gonna upset somebody, and that's something else. Where like if you're running a business. In any capacity, I would say stay as far away from picking a side as possible. Because if you're going to pick one side, you're going to alienate the other, you know? And that's just the way it is. And that's one reason in Three Finger Betty we take pot shots at both sides.
Yeah. You can interpret the lyrics however you wish.
Oh, yeah. That's the other fun thing. Some people will read a song title and then just be like, I can't believe you guys dirka dirka dirka. And it's like, well, you obviously didn't listen to anything or read the lyrics because it's the opposite of what you think or whatever, you know? So...
Well, that's part of the fun in the world of America.
Yeah, like you said once, it's like, boom, got him, you know?
They fell for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right into the trap.
Oh, man. So check out all the social medias. If you guys are looking for somewhere to record, maybe check out the places we mentioned before in the podcast for places to record. And, you know I got to let you go here before too long because you got to prep yourself and get ready for work. And then we got to all meet up here later tonight for a band practice as of the day we're recording this. So I do have to say thanks for taking time out of your day to sit down and talk with me because, you know, it's not always
indulging me.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's not always easy to get together, and
no.
So that's why we're doing this one over Skype, even though we're going to meet up later in the day. We just won't have the time later in the day to sit down and talk as much as now. So is there anything else you want to talk about that I did not mention? Because I brought up the shows, I brought up the new recording, and the new Facebook page, which is in the links down below, so check that out.
Nothing's coming to mind. Just always good to talk and see how it's nice because it seems like, and some of this is because things are opening back up, but there's like a good vibe in the music scene overall that people are like, okay, this didn't die. We get to actually go see bands in person. You know,
yeah.
That last Sleepover show was just at Gaslamp was amazing. The energy in there. And the people I heard a guy when I was playing, like the second song, some guy's like, I can't believe it. Live fucking music. Holy shit. He was so happy. He'd never seen us before. You could have gone up there with a toy trumpet and that guy would have been happy that somebody was playing music. You know?
That's the truth. It's the truth.
And I think some bands are going to move up a little bit because they've been sitting around. I know some people, some of our friends, they haven't been playing, but they've been recording.
Yeah.
People are getting ready to come back out, and everybody's going to have new tunes.
Mm-hmm.
They've been writing, and I think people are going to actually appreciate it just a little more, and hopefully that isn't a temporary thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's off in 6 months.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, that would totally suck. But even if it does fizzle off, you know, at least we'll have the availability to be part of the resurgence and the coming back of live music. Because, like you said, some people didn't play almost any shows over the last year and a half, you know, and instead they recorded stuff. So if you want to check it out, you know, maybe the bands have new music and new material. I mean, we've got 3, 4, 5 new songs coming out. So
yeah, got some. Hopefully have those, should at least play at one of them by those July shows.
Yeah. So come check us out live, or if your favorite band has a show and you feel comfortable going out and checking it out, go check them out. I bet they got new tunes coming out. So
yep.
That goes for Des Moines area and across the state everywhere. So, you know, like I said, I've been talking to a lot of people on the podcast here lately, and a lot of people just said they've been spending time writing new music, and that's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. So, I mean,
that never stops.
Yeah, even Jesse's got a track that's coming out here at the end of the month. So, I mean, actually, I think it's coming out. Let's see here. As of the day I'm recording this, I know when's the podcast. I think it might come out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So check that out, I guess, on Jesse's page if you guys are looking for any of the country style stuff. So, Dude, it's great to talk to you. Once again, I got to let you go here so you can prep for the rest of your day so we can make it to practice tonight on time and everything. So thank you very much for sitting down talking with me over Skype and stuff. I appreciate it, man.
Yep. This is what it must be like to work in an office now.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I've been doing job interviews and things like that like this for a while too. So
Yeah, at least you don't have to wear pants. I mean,
well, yeah. You throw a business shirt on over top of your concert shirt and you're just like, yeah, I'm businessman now.
yeah, I'm not going to stand up. I'm going to let everybody wonder.
All right, man. Stay on the line. I'm going to end the recording, but thanks, man.
All right.
Oh, baby. It's good to sit down and talk with my buddy John Waugh. If you guys are looking for any of those shows or information about the upcoming shows we've got going on with Three Finger Betty or the Shitkickers, check them out down below. I've got links down below to the pages and social medias and such for both of those, as well as the Sleepover, which John Waugh also plays in. So that's where all the information is going to be. It's going to be down below, so click that up and swing out to a show sometime if you feel comfortable coming out to a show. And if not, then I guess just stay at home and enjoy yourself at home. There is stuff to be listened to as well. If you're just sitting at home, you can listen to the Three Finger Betty EP that we recorded last year, and there is even some Sleepover material available online as well. So check out their social medias for more information about those items. I do also have to say there are some other things going on down below in the description section. You can click on the Patreon page for Audible Farm, and the Patreon page you can watch video versions of the podcast. Video versions there will be available. It's $1 a month. That's $12 a year. I mean, that's all it costs. It's less than Netflix costs pretty much for 1 month. So if you guys are looking to monetarily support the podcast, you can do it that way, or you can check out the Audible Farm shop. There's t-shirts, there's hoodies, there's a few hoodies left, not many, but there's a few hoodies left. There's also stickers. I have not quite updated the stickers. I do have some pretty awesome bumper stickers. So if you guys are looking for decals and things like that, check them out at the shop there. That's where they're going to be available. Also, if you guys do not want to monetarily support the podcast, that's totally fine. Just give us a like, give us a subscribe, leave us a review, 5 stars, just let us know what you think. Comment on something and let us know that you listened to the episode and what you thought of it. That'll go a long ways. Or just share the episodes with your friends, or if you find something you like, let us know, and we'll try to keep doing the things you like, and we'll try to pass on the things you don't like. And that's pretty much all there is to it with the podcast here. We're just trying our best to support the scene around us. I guess maybe around me, myself. It's not just about the people I play guitar with, though. It is also about, everyone else in the scene. I've interviewed a lot of people that I've seen live, or people that have sent me messages and shown me some of their work, and I said, hey, this is pretty cool. Let's talk about the stuff you have going on, because I'm trying my best to branch out across the state while keeping it semi-local to myself, but there's people all over the state making awesome music. So if you guys are looking for other musicians across the state, if you're looking to network, maybe just scroll back through the episodes and find some of the older episodes with some of the people I've interviewed, and check them out. Check out their music, check out their information, their socials, everything. And if give them a like too. Don't just give the Audible Farm page a like. If you like somebody else's stuff, give them a like. Let them know, hey, I heard your stuff on Audible Farm. I checked out your material. It's pretty awesome. I really appreciate it. I do also have to say a big shout out to Schwinky Artistry. She came out and took some pictures of me and Jesse while we were playing some guitar last week. So hats off to her. I really appreciate all the work she's done. So we're going to be probably uploading some pictures here in the near future. If you guys are looking for photos to be taken at a show around the northern Iowa area, hit her up. She might come out to your show and take some pictures if you pitch her a couple bucks. She's got rates that I'm sure she will let you know about if you guys are looking to do something like that. And otherwise, if you guys are looking for some, social media logos or some edits to be done to photos and things like that, hit her up. She'll do that for you too. Once again, you got to support everyone, all sorts of artists and musicians. Money is the way to do it. It's not the only way to support somebody, but you got to pay people for their work, So hit her up if you're looking for some of that stuff. I figured I'd give her a nice little plug on here for that because she did a lot of work for us recently, and she's still doing a lot of work behind the scenes for us and things like that. So hats off to her for doing some of that stuff for us. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mackenzie at Schwinky Artistry. And that will do it for this week. I'm working on finding some new guests. I did recently do another guitar remodel, and there's going to be a video for that coming out here in the next couple weeks. And so keep your eyes peeled for that on the Audible Farm YouTube channel. One of the fun things about that, well, you know what? I think I'm going to sit down and talk to the person that ended up getting that guitar, and we'll see what we got going on with that, because there's going to be some fun stuff there. So I do have one episode kind of planned out in the near future, sort of, to try to talk to somebody about that. I'll just kind of leave it as a cliffhanger for now. So keep your eyes peeled in the upcoming weeks for more episodes from a lot of your favorite musicians from around the state. I do appreciate you guys listening each and every week. Check out audiblefarm.com if you're looking for all the links for everything. I may end up redesigning that website yet. I keep talking about it and teasing it, but I have had some people send me some prototypes of some websites they've designed in their off time just for fun, and some of them look pretty sweet, so I might end up going that route. We'll see. Just keep your eyes peeled. Thank you guys very much for listening each and every week. I'll check you next week. Peace.